Hello, good day, good to have you one more time. Today we'll be doing the zigzag base and the V-shape base. And for the zigzag base, basically what I mean by zigzag base is this. This is what I mean by a zigzag base. Like, you have this pattern on the base. Then for the V-shape, it's a bit similar to the zigzag, but I'll just do it for, I don't have a sample on ground. So for this base variation, you know, the regular base we have is the rounded base, and that one is made from 225 inches and 223 inches basically. But for the zigzag base and the rounded base, what we do is we use 28 inches instead of the 25 inches for the pleated parts. So we use 28 inches instead of 25 inches for the pleated parts. So for zigzag, we'll cut 5 pieces of 28 inches. 5 pieces of 28 inches. This is what I mean. Okay, now for zigzag gele and for the V-shape gele base, for the auto gele, advise that you use plain fabric. I've tried it before with perforated fabric. This is what I call perforated ashoke. That is the jawu. It is called jawu in Yoruba. For this perforated ashoke, I've tried it before, the base variations, and it didn't come out well. It wasn't obvious. So I realized that it comes out beautiful in plain fabric. So what I do is, if I have to work on a perforated for a customer, I get the similar or the same fabric in plain, then I work with it together. So that is what I'll be doing with this now. So let's go to cutting now. So we'll cut, we'll measure 28 inches of a fabric. Now don't forget that we are working on the zigzag shaped base. That's what we're doing right now, because for the V-shaped base there's a little bit of variation. For the V-shaped base, the pleated part, we use 6 pieces of 28 measurements, but for the zigzag we use 5 pieces of the 28 measurements. So just pay attention. So I'll measure 28 inches, 28 inches here. Then I'll mark it, then I'll cut this in 5 places. So this is my 28 inches. I'll fold it and cut it out in 5 places. That is for the zigzag. But if I am actually working on a V shape, I'll do this in 6 places. So when I'm cutting for this V shape, you see the little bit of difference in the different base variation, base style. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's it. So this is 5. So I'll cut it out. I'll cut the whole 5 into 28 inches strip. Then so this way I don't have to go do my 28 measurements all over, you know. So now I have 28 in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I have it on 5. So these pieces, I'll join them together with a sewing machine like this. I'll place them beside each other since they're equal length, and sew them using my sewing machine together. So let me put this aside until I'm ready to sew. So the next one I'll cut 223 for the back cover. That is what it covers the back of the auto gele. So just the way we have 23 in our rounded base, we also have 23 in two places. So I'll measure my 23 here. So I have my 23 here. So I'll just fold it into two, then cut it out. Okay. Okay, so this 223 is going to be my back cover, the cover of my auto gele. Okay, so now the next thing is to move to the sewing machine section and stitch, but I don't want to take our time with that. So I already have one that I joined together already before this class. So you can see I have 28 inches in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 already joined together. Then I have the 23 section. This is 23 23 in two places, just the way we cut our fabric here. So the only thing I did is the 23 section has been hemmed in, you know, the way we hem our round base, our round cover for the base, for the rounded for the round base, the way we hem the 23 section, that's the way I hemmed here. Then the other part for the 28 528, it is whipped with an overlocking machine or a whipping machine. So, and you know why we whip? The reason we whip is because anywhere you are going to pleat, you don't sew, you don't hem. So we use the whipping machine to whip the edge. So now I want to go to making the zigzag base now, so as to reduce the lengthiness of the video. That is why I actually skip the process of stitching together. But I think we've taken we know how to stitch together by now, so it won't be difficult for us to do this. But even if you don't know how to stitch together, you can get someone to do the stitching for you. Okay, now, so this is the fabric. This is I have 28 and 5 places, then I have the 23 in two places at the bottom. So to start with, the first thing you do is this. I don't have a perfect measurement for this folding, but this is what I do. You can either fold, you know, normally we fold 2 inches in our fabric to do our pleats, but for this you don't fold, so you create like a long parallel like a triangle, I don't know, but just see what I'm trying to explain, like a triangle. Using your first 28. So I'm just going to dwell on my first 28, then do this. You create like a parallel line. You can see it's slanted. The line is slanted in such a way that I have my first 28 folded this way, like this. So this is what I have. You can see you fold in to have this slanted in, you know, to have it slanted in like this. So you can do it in either direction. You can do it in this direction, you can do it in this direction. So, but there is one principle to it that I want you to bear in mind, and this is it. See, whichever direction you fold to, now you start your pleats, your zigzag pleats, from the point where you have the widest of the fabric. What I mean by widest is, you know, we use our first pleats, our first 28 inches. So at that point where my 28 inches is the widest, that is where I'm going to start my pleat from. So now, you know, this hole is the 28 inches, but at this point is very thin, and at this point is very wide. So I'm going to start my pleat from the point where I have the widest of the fabric here on the first 28. Now if you start working from here, it looks as if it's best to work from this point, but you can try it. You find out that your zigzag won't align together. So that is what I just discovered. So I found out that if you start pleating from this point of 28, of this widest point of your first 28, it gives you a very neat job. So let's start. So I said our first pleat is going to be around there, so I'm going to start my first pleat. And then also, when you are pleating, try as much as possible to tilt your first pleat towards the left. I'll explain what I mean by that. I just said that you should start your first pleat on the side where the fabric is widest on your first, where you made your slants. Okay, so now this is where my pleat is the thinnest, so I did my first pleat on the side where my fabric is widest. Okay, now I said that you tilt your fabric to the left hand side. Now for me, this is my left hand, and this is my right hand, so I'm tilting my pleat to this side, the beginning of my pleat to this side. The reason is this. Now, so I have a cross here now. If I fold this into two, you realize that this is the left hand. The left hand is shorter than the right hand. The reason is because as you pleat, your pleat tends to move towards the right hand. So just to be on the safe side, so you don't have to loosen and pleat again, because this is what I've done over, and then I realized that I have to loosen and redo. So to avoid this, try to move the first pleat you start, try to move it towards the left. As you keep pleating, you realize that the pleat tilts towards the right, and that way it balances up to the middle. It will come towards this point, like towards this point. Okay, let's go on. So I've done my first pleat, so you do it halfway. So this is my first pleat, I did it halfway, I didn't go down to this point. So you do it like halfway. Okay, is all right. Now the next one, I'll pleat to the side. So you pleat halfway to one side, then after the one you move to the next side. So now I'm coming to this side and I'll pleat halfway. So I won't pleat it down to the side, to the left. So I'm pleating to the right now. I'm pleating to the right now. Sounds good. Oh. Okay, I have to do this. So if you watch closely, if you look closely, you see that my pleat is halfway. It's done. Like I put it down, then I don't finish it up on this side. So your pleat is like on one side. You don't finish it up on the other side. So I'm ready to do for the left hand side now. I just finished the one for the right hand side. So this is the one for the left hand side. So it's like I'm making half pleats on each side. So after this, I'll do the other one, like I'm interchanging it. So half pleats on each side. It consumes fabric, so that's why we're using that much of 28 in 5 places. Okay, so I'll move to the next one. So then to the next one. So that's how you keep doing it. You after you move from right to left, making half pleats. I mean, you don't pleat it through the other. Like if I'm pleating to the right, I won't finish the pleats to the left. I hope my explanation makes sense now. Okay, I'm just trying to set my pleat so it's well arranged. So I'm trying to arrange my pleats. So if you want your, depending on the shape you want to, if you want it to be like lengthy, you want your slants to be really lengthy, you can adjust that. So I just did my adjustment to the point I want it to be. Okay. Oops. Wow. So sorry about that. Okay, now I'm done pleating. So the next thing, I'm done pleating my zigzag pleat. The next thing is to arrange them, because I want them to be well aligned. That's the beauty. So you need to arrange them so it's well aligned. As you're doing this, be careful so it doesn't scatter. So I'm trying to set them, the zigzag pleat, so that the points align. So like here at this point, I want it to align straight, and I want these points to align straight up. You can leave it, just leave it. Let's get going. Okay, God is wonderful. Our God is good, oh yeah. He's good, oh yeah. Okay. Let me see. They still need for any adjustments. So I'm done pleating. Thread. Okay, thank you, Ma. So I need to tack down now. Since after pleating, I I like the outcome is good. Now if I want it to be very close to each other, probably it's too spaced out, I can pull it together. And if I want it more spaced out, I can pull it away. It's just that I don't want it too spaced out. So we're ready to use the thread and the needle to secure our pleats together after we've tried to set it. So you have to hide the knot of your thread. That's why I didn't start from the top. So the knot here, I'm trying to hide it in between my pleats. So all I'm trying to do here is to secure the zigzag plate with my needle and thread so it doesn't move when I try to place it on my head. So I try as much as possible to return my needle and thread through the points which I ran them through, so as to avoid having thread, you know, inside my base, because that part will be seen. So I prefer to run it in between the pleats than to have it running through. I just have to endure some of the pain, you know. Pierced my hand so many times as I'm working right now, but I have to endure it. So I'm good with this side. So I'll move to the other side now. I'm good with this side. So if you're working with white, what happens is, because while working you get to pierce your hands very often, I've advised that when you're working with white, you have like maybe a towel or cotton wool close by, soak with spirit, so that immediately you pierce your hand, you just wait a minute and then check if it's going to bleed, then you rub it or clean it off on the towel or on the face towel. The reason is because sometimes when I pierce my hands like this, I won't notice it bleeding, then after a while just see stains on my ear. But with colored material, it's not so visible, it's not visible like that, so I don't really bother myself, except the piercing is very deep. So if it's not very deep, I just keep working. So but with white, no matter how shallow or how the piercing is, I just wait to check, because while you're working, you're putting pressure on your fingers, so the pressure will make the pierced parts to bleed, and so you don't want to have blood stains on your white. That is why I charge extra to make a white orthogele for a client, because one, you'll be very careful so it doesn't get stained, then two, you have to be very careful while working so you don't get to pierce your hand and then it stains the fabric. there's something I noticed while working. You know, I told you that before we start pleating, we'll tilt our fabric to the left, and as we keep pleating, our fabric is going to tilt towards the right. So from what I noticed, this fabric has really tilted to the right in such a way that I have more of this 23 more to the left than I have to the right. So, but it's not that bad on this. But just in case you're working and before you tack with your needle and thread, check it properly. You can even use a tape rule. Also, you can also you can use a tape rule to check from this middle, like that's like the half of the base. Check your measurement from here to the right to the left. If it's close to each other, then it's good. But if it's far from each other, you might need to loosen this part out, the 23 out, then readjust it and attach it. Also, you can finish your crisscross base before sewing your 23 part to it. That makes it easier. It makes it a lot easier that way. You know, if I'd finished doing my crisscross, then attaching this one, I'll just centralize it too, like fold this into two halves, that is the 23 parts, and set it the middle to the part where I have my zigzag, you know, my aligned zigzag. That way it should be a lot easier. But this way it seems it's a bit tilted, but it's not too bad. You know, I think it's probably 1 or 2 inch tilted to the left and to the right, so I can still manage with that. But just in case you're working and you have it more tilted to the left than to the right, you might need to loosen out this your 23 and reattach it. So to make the work easier, just finish your 28 crisscross, then when you're done, you can attach your 23 later. And don't forget that it's the parts, the 23 parts that we hem. So I'm done with securing the zigzag plate. The next thing is to check it on my head if it's good. So I'll take the plate and place it on the head. So as I'm doing this, I need to look at the mirror to make sure that the pleats are aligned. So now, after doing this, okay, seems good like this. So after doing this, I'll move to a sewing machine to attach my hook and loop to it, and then my base is ready. So let's go to a sewing machine to do that. Okay, so I'm ready to attach the hook and loop, and I have about 8 inches of hook and loop. To be on the safe side, that's why I used so much. Now, because this fabric is very lengthy, you know, we use 28 for the zigzag part. So that is why we need very long hook and loop. When we're done attaching it, we're going to cut off the excess hook and loop. So don't forget that the rough hook and loop is to be attached to the left hand side here, and the smooth hook and loop will be attached to the right hand side inside this part, just like this. So first thing is to see now. You see, even though my hook and loop is very lengthy, after placing it on this part, it's looking like it's not that length. So I'll open this up so I can sew my hook and loop to the last place on this part. So I'll sew the rough hook and loop on this part. Now, bearing in mind that at least you should have about half, which is about 4 inches. Let me measure what I have here. Okay, this is about 4 inches into the fabric. So I place my hook and loop about 4 inches into the fabric. and I left the other 4-inch out. So I'm ready to sew right now. so the smooth hook and loop too. This other side. So I'll place it close to this fold here. About 4 inch into my fabric. Okay, now I need to cut my C-cut, but for the zigzag and the other one that is for the V shape, it's not going to be a C-cut. It's just going to be like a big cut, a very large cut in between the first split and the last one here. So what I'll do is this: I'll take the first split, open it up like this, then make a cut from the first split, just away from the first split like this. Then come to this part and make a cut just about 2 inches away from this split here. Make a cut. Then I'll keep cutting until the point that I can have a U shape to this point. So I start my cutting from this point, then I keep going up like this. So it's going to be like a very big U. Just to take the fabric between both the first split and the last split, the excess fabric in between, so that my machine can, the sewing machine can sew between it. So looking at this, I'm going to take the measurement of this so that you can have an idea of how much of the fabric that I took out. So this is about 20 inches of fabric that was taken out. So you can do 19 or 20 anymore. That's good. So after cutting this, I'll place this on the head to check it if it is fine and to set it properly before I sew it down. That's the way we do it around base. I have to look at a mirror to make sure that I set the pleat properly. And then I pull it. So you can see my hand at the back. I'm using one hand to hold this part close. Then I'm using the other hand to pull this other part to it, so it looks firm, as I'm looking through the mirror. I want to have that firm look, so I'll keep arranging the pleat just the way we arrange for the round piece. Okay, so now I like what I'm saying here. So I'll hold it that way, bring it out. I'll make sure my hand doesn't move, and I'll secure it down this way. The only little challenge I see in this is that this part seems a bit thick. So I don't know if my machine, because this fabric is very thick. The fabric is quite thick. So having it now at this point in several layers, I don't know if my machine is going to sew through. But if my machine don't sew through, I'll use a needle and a thread to tap this part down. But let me try first to see if my machine, if the sewing machine will sew it. Oh, it's so high that I'll do this for a while so that I can be able to move my cut thread. I'm just manually trying to, okay, until, yeah, so I can try to turn it on. Because the edge of this fabric is loosening, I want to take it off the hook and loop and fold it in. So I'm trying to loosen out the hook and loop from the edge, then I'll fold it in a bit, so hold the part that is loosening. Okay, so I'll fold this part in a little bit. The part that is loosening, I'll fold it in a little bit like this. It's just the fabric that I think is very hard. That's why I'm having a bit of challenge sewing. So, but if the fabric was the regular cut double crown text I will use, because this is cotton with shine, and the cotton is double cotton with shine, so it's quite thick. So the thread keeps cutting. You know, I tried to sew a piece of the regular fabric we use. I realized that the thread wasn't cutting, so it's just the fabric, and because it's several layers of it, that's why the thread keep ripping up. I don't know, maybe my thread is also contributing to this, because the thread seems thank you, Jesus. Okay. Sew the other side, so I'll sew this other part down. So after sewing this part, you sew the other part down too, so as to have a firm hold. Uh-oh. I think my lower thread is finished. So it stops sewing. This fabric is very thick. This is where we're having challenges. That's why actually you need all fabrics for all style. I use different fabrics for different style. This is the first time I'm trying this fabric for this style. Use the needle and thread to do the finishing. If keep cutting off this way. I want to try this one. Maybe it's very open with that blue fabric. I want to try it on the pieces and I want to be sure why this is not sewing, because I've gotten to the point that it's not even sewing anymore. So I want to be sure if it's the fabric or if there's something wrong with the machine. Try it on. Thickness of the fabric, that's why it's not sewing, because it's sewing properly and the thread isn't cutting. So my assumption is this fabric is quite thick, so if I'm using it for this style, the folds will not, the several folds that is involved in making the zigzag will not make it easy for the sewing machine to sew through. I'll finish up using a needle and thread for this part, so this part is good now. Let's move to the other parts now. So try using the head. I have my hook in excess and I have my hook in excess to 1 minute. So the next thing I need to do is to do my C-cut on this side. then sew it down. So I want to cut my support. Now this is my support, like we tried in the other one. The last fold here, okay, this is the last fold on this part. This one is not counted a fold. So just in case you have something like this, don't cut from here, move to the next one. So I'm going to cut from this part. So assume that this is my last fold. So I'm cutting from here, and then cut to this point. About 19 inches, so let's stick to 19 inches. So that means I took out about 19 inches in between the two pleats. Because this part of my look is loosening, I want to loosen it out and fold it in just the way I did for the other one. I can as well use it down to show. Okay, so I'll place it on the hair, and to get the one or two towels, sew it down. So I'll place it on the edge. Next thing is to try to arrange it. Well, try to arrange. I'm trying to, just I need to look at the mirror so I can see what I'm trying to arrange it so that it looks neat. Now, after doing this, I'll pin it down, as in I'll use my hand to pin it down, then pull it up gently in such a way that to show. Then I'll take it down to the sewing machine and try as much as possible to sew. Now, if you use a lighter fabric like the double net for this, it won't give so much stress for the sewing machine as much as I'm giving the sewing machine right now. It's the reason why I'm actually going through this much stress, because the fabric is very thick. This fabric is thick, you know, for normal round pleats. Use a needle and a thread to do this. My sewing machine is also since my sewing machine is sewing.
Some of this fabric. I'm trying to secure all the points where my machine will not sew through using the needle and the thread. But if you use the double net fabric or the super net. Those are the fabrics I've actually used before for this style, and it works easily. I haven't tried this cotton before, this cotton with shine, so that's why I'm having so much of challenges. But whichever fabric you work with, you can actually work your way through. And the thing about it is that by the time I'm done, you find out that the outcome is finer with this fabric than with the regular double knits that I use. But it's a lot of work because you have to do a lot of tacking with the middle and thread since the machines can also do. The reason is because for the zigzag piece, it entails several folds. So because this fabric is thick on its own, it's a lot of work for the machine to sew through, the several folds. So this way, my zigzag base is ready. The only thing here is that I noticed that, okay, now I have the good distance that I want. So this is my zigzag base, and this is good for me. So now, because I noticed that this pleat here overlaps on each other, I'll use the needle and the thread to tack it away from each other so that it doesn't overlap on each other. So, and then we're going to just place a crown on it, and then that's fine. Please, can you pass me one French crown there? Maybe the royal blue or something. Let me place it on it for the royal blue crown. Thank you. Yeah, thank you very much. So I'll just use this as a sample, but I advise that when you're making the zigzag or the V shape, I advise that you add 1 inch extra to your fabric. So for the 55, leave it at 55. For the 19, make it 20, with your one inch allowance for losing allowance. So that will be 21. So the reason is because this crown is for a round base. The zigzag or the V shape is actually swollen because of the several folds of fabric. If you can remember, we used about 5 layers of 28 inches, and on a regular day for a round base, we use 25 inches for our round pleats. But this has 5 layers, so that makes it higher. So because it's higher, you need to put extra fabric so that your fabric for the crown will be able to come around the head. So this is the one I use. This is the crown for the round base. So it won't go around the head properly for this V shape. The reason is because the crown isn't long enough. So just add 1 inch extra to what you normally use for your round base. And then, so you place the crown on your last zigzag pleat. You place it on your last zigzag pleat, tie it. So this is what I have. Then also you can add 1 extra if you want it higher than this, because this is an 8-layer crown. So if you want it higher, you can add 1 more layer to make it 9 layer. Then if it's a bride, you can make it 9 or 10 layers. What I mean by 9 layers is that at the point where you have your 27, you add a 29 to it after the 27 before your 45, which is the top of the crown. So if you want to make it 10 after your 29, don't forget that to your 29 you add 1 inch losing allowance and 1 inch extra allowance for the crown, because the crown is higher, it takes more fabric. So then if you want it 10, you add another extra 1. So after your 29, which has turned 31, you add another 1, which is another 2 inches to 31. That's 33. That's fine. So if you do that, make sure that you don't use a fabric that is too hard, because if I have to do this fabric in 9 to 10 layers, it's going to be a lot of work, because the fabric is very hard and difficult to run my needle through. So if I'm going to make it higher, then I'll have to, it's going to pierce my hand, and that's going to be all the way. So this way I'm good. Just that at the back, my two edges are not close to each other, they are far. And the reason why it's like that is because this crown is actually a bit small for this base. But if you like it this way, you can use this same measurement for this V-shaped star. Sorry, for this zigzag star. So depending on what works for you. Thank you very much. I hope we'll go together. So you can watch this video over and over again to get it.